All right, welcome to Module 4. We're about to tackle the two questions that really determine if a business is going to live or die. First, is there a real market for your idea? And second, who are all the key people who can help you or, completely stop you from building it? Let's get right into it.
I want you to just look at this number for a second. 90%. That is the percentage of startups that fail. And yeah, it's a pretty terrifying statistic. But believe it or not, buried inside that number is the single most important lesson you can possibly learn right now.
Because that 90%, it stands for the number one reason businesses die. It's not complicated. They just plain misread the market. They spent all their time, all their money, building something that, in the end, nobody actually wanted.
Now, here's what's so wild about this. The failure almost never happens because of a lack of passion, or a lack of skills, or even a lack of funding. Nope. It happens because founders fall in love with their solution, but they're solving a problem that either doesn't really exist, or it just isn't painful enough for people to actually pay to fix.
And this right here, this is the core mindset shift of this entire module. We have got to move away from that super dangerous assumption of, if I build it, they will come. It's a fantasy. We're going to adopt an evidence-based approach instead. Prove they will come, then build it. And this module, it's going to give you the tools to find that proof.
So how do we actually find that proof? Well, it all starts with sizing the opportunity. You got to think of this as the pre-flight check for your business. It's the one thing you absolutely, positively cannot skip.
We use a really simple framework for this: TAM, SAM, and SOM. Now think of it like this. Let's say you're launching a new gourmet coffee brand. Your TAM is every single coffee drinker in the entire world, a huge, mostly theoretical number. Okay, your SAM narrows that down to, say, the coffee drinkers in your city that you can actually reach with your marketing. But your SOM, that's the most important number. That's the realistic slice of that local market you can actually win in your first few years. And let's be crystal clear about this. For a startup, your SOM is the only number that truly matters. A massive TAM, that's a vanity metric. It's just for show. If your obtainable market, your SOM, can't generate enough revenue to build a real business, the idea stops right here. The market just isn't big enough. End of story.
But hey, just calculating a number isn't enough. We have to validate it. Is that SOM even real? Is the problem you think you're solving actually painful enough that people in that market will open up their wallets for your solution?
So how do we test for that pain? Well, you have to pass these 4 gates. Gate 1. Does the problem actually exist, or is it just something you made up in your head? Gate 2. Have you talked to real people who say, yes, I have this problem? Gate 3. Are they already paying someone else or using some clunky workaround to solve it right now? And finally, the big one, Gate 4, is their pain so bad that they would happily pay to switch to your better solution?
If you remember just one thing from this whole section, please let it be this: your assumptions are not validation. They're just guesses. The only thing that counts as evidence is having real conversations with real potential customers.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about competition. You've basically got 2 kinds. First, you have your direct competitors. They're offering the same thing to the same people. And then you've got your indirect competitors. They solve the same problem, but in a totally different way. Think taxis versus a ride-sharing app.
Now here's the counterintuitive truth about competition that trips a lot of people up. If you look around and you can't find a single competitor, direct or indirect, that is a massive red flag. It usually means you don't have a market. But on the flip side, if you have way too many, you better have a crystal clear differentiator that makes you stand out from the crowd.
Okay, so we've sized the market, we've validated the problem. What's next? Now we need to map out the human ecosystem around your business. Because trust me, no venture ever exists in a vacuum.
The key term here is stakeholder. And I want you to understand the definition is incredibly broad. It's not just your customers. It's literally anyone who can affect or be affected by your business.
And this map just shows you how broad that really is. I mean, of course, you've got your customers and your business partners, but you've also got to think about influencers, regulators, opponents like your competitors, and, this is a big one, your internal stakeholders, like your family and personal supporters.
So why does this matter so much? Because doing this analysis prevents those catastrophic blind sides. It stops you from getting shut down by a landlord who finds out you're running a business from your apartment, or by some city zoning board whose permit you don't even know you needed. It even forces you to have that tough conversation and consider if your own family is on board with the massive risk you're about to take.
And the tool we use for this is called the Stakeholder Register. It's simple.
For each person or group you identify, you're going to note their interest in what you're doing, their level of influence over it, and then come up with a specific strategy for how you're going to engage with them. And remember, this is a living document. You're going to keep coming back to it.
So, what's the point of all this? We're not just creating paperwork for the sake of it. The whole point is to turn all this analysis into actionable intelligence. Intelligence that's going to guide your next absolutely critical decision.
So by the time you're done with this module, you're going to walk away with 3 tangible, super useful outputs. Document 5, your market opportunity assessment. Document 6, your stakeholder identification map. And Document 7, your living stakeholder register.
Let's just put this all into perspective for a second. The total time investment for this entire process, that's about 2 to 3 hours. And the risk you prevent by doing it? Oh, just the single biggest cause of startup failure, building something nobody wants. I mean, come on, it's the best investment of your time you can possibly make.
So here it is, your final checklist for the module. Complete Document 5, your market assessment. Complete Document 6, identifying all your stakeholders. Complete Document 7, your register for managing them. And once you've done that, you are officially ready to proceed to the next step.
And all of this, all of it, leads right here to Gate 0. Armed with the evidence you've just gathered, you are now ready to make the most important call of your journey so far. Is this a go, a conditional go, or a no-go? The beautiful thing is, the answer isn't a guess anymore. You actually have the data to decide.